First off, Bernie Williams of Yankee fame is apparently filing suit against me. No, I got the wrong Bernie, but I think you know where I'm going here. To the Democrats, where Hillary Clinton is on the cusp of mathematically securing the Democratic nomination. Now, after winning primaries this week in the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, Clinton sits just 23 delegates shy of the magic number. Of course, much of that advantage coming from those Democratic superdelegates. Now, which is one of the arguments Sanders still making to supporters. He and Clinton both focusing on California, which votes tomorrow, along with New Jersey, New Mexico, Montana, and the Dakotas. And Bernie shows no sign of getting out of the race anytime soon, even attacking the Clintons over contributions given to the Clinton Global Initiative in an interview he gave just this weekend.
You ask me about the Clinton Foundation, do I have a problem when a sitting Secretary of State and a foundation run by her husband collects many millions of dollars from foreign governments, governments which are dictatorships? You don't have a lot of civil liberties or democratic rights in Saudi Arabia. You don't have a lot of respect there for opposition points of view, for gay rights, for women's rights. Yeah, do I have a problem with that? Yeah, I do.
You think it creates an appearance of conflict of interest?
Yeah, I do.
For her part, Hillary's been more focused on Trump than Sanders. Bill, though, he's hammering Bernie and responding to hecklers at a rally this weekend with this line.
I don't want to pick a fight, but if I were them, I'd be screaming too, because if you figure this out, they're toast for Election Day.
Dominic, the Matt says he's right, that after tomorrow night, it's going to be over. We may not even get to the California returns by the time she declares. I find it interesting. Hillary tomorrow, she won't be in California. She won't even be in New Jersey. She's going to be at the Brooklyn headquarters. Do you think that's because she wants to give basically the speech before the returns come out in California, or she's worried she's going to lose California? Does she really wrap it up tomorrow?
Well, she wraps it up. The good news for your state, Congressman, yes. New Jersey is going to push her over the top before the polls even close in California. But to your point, Richard, your assessment is correct. I mean, Bernie Sanders is it means absolutely nothing except for momentum. But Bernie Sanders is running strong in California. Do you really want to lose a state as big and diverse as California and be on location? So if she's in New York, she's close to home, and she can hold numerous fundraisers within a 24 to 48 hour clock.
We're hearing, Steve, that the president is going to endorse Hillary as early as this week. I've heard numerous Democrats have tried to bend Sanders' ear and say, you've made your point here. You're going to be on the platform. Your goal here, your movement, it's been heard. She can't pivot to the middle as much because of you. You win. And he says, no, I'm going to fight all the way to the floor. What do you think happens? Does it get to Philadelphia?
I don't think so. There's a couple of points I want to make. One, Obama saying that he's going to be ready to make an endorsement this week is meaningful. It's a shot across the bow, a warning to Bernie Sanders to come on board. Remember, Hillary Clinton, 4 days after she was mathematically eliminated by Obama in 2008, 4 days later, she came on board with Obama. But I do want to point out one logical inconsistency of Bernie Sanders, who I happen to like and has added something to the Democratic Party in our debate. Sanders says, you know, he's more than 3 million votes behind Hillary, and he can't catch up after Tuesday. That's the end of the primaries. So he says, well, wait a minute, maybe I can get these superdelegates to come over. This is the same man, Bernie Sanders, who criticized superdelegates as being the creation of party hacks and the establishment. And now he's saying, hey, hold up, I
can't beat him, join him.
I may be able to get
the
these hacks on my side.
That's unfair. That's unfair because he's still critical of him, but he has no choice. And he's making the argument that if I won in that state, those superdelegates should support me.
But I think that I disagree with you, my dear friend. I think it's hypocritical to say this. First of all, he says he doesn't want to live up to the rules he signed off on. And under those rules, Hillary wins. And then he says, well, wait a minute. This is a despicable thing, which I would never countenance and never approve of. But hold off. I want to see if I can get a piece of it.
I was going to make the point about superdelegates, but since you beat me to it, I'm going to make a different point. One of the bigger arguments that Sanders had been using is, well, you know, these millennials who are turning out to my rally, they might vote for Donald Trump. We're hearing a lot of, you know, they might cross over for Trump. MTV put out a new survey of millennial voters today. More than half of them who say they're supporting Bernie say, you know what, if he's out of the race, I'll support Hillary. And there you see the numbers. Only 3% of Bernie Sanders' millennial voters say they would actually go to Trump. The rest would either write somebody in or they wouldn't vote at all. So that's not a really good argument to keep Sanders in the race. If he loses California tomorrow, he's got almost no rationale for staying in this race. And I think there's a decent chance he will lose California.
There were
tomorrow.
some Republicans who voted for President Obama, then Senator Obama, 8 years ago because he thought he would include them. Hillary is a pretty talented person. She does her homework. She is ethically challenged to the extreme. That part I agree. But if she is not forced by Bernie to be too far left, and she comes into the center and says, you will have a role to play in bringing this country forward, she will get Republican votes.
Interesting. Elizabeth Warren, there's rumors that she's trying to work as the intermediary. You think it's working?
You know, I was looking to see if she had said anything publicly about that, and she hadn't gone on the record. I know there's been talk about, boy, if Hillary takes her as a VP nominee, then that instantly appeals to Bernie Sanders supporters. I don't know, and I don't know how much political capital she wants to spend trying to bring the two together.
And if they asked you, Congressman, for free advice, who's she better? I mean, there's the Tim Kaine thought. You go to Virginia and you try and find somebody who's going to help you with one of these trouble states. Somebody says, oh, I could trust him or her, you know, as being the next in line. Or you try and appeal to the left with Sanders gone. She'd do the trick here. Or maybe a diverse candidate, a minority candidate. Where should she go?
I think she should go with Sherrod Brown from Ohio.
Really?
Yeah.
That would make the Democrats need to win one additional state in order to get the Senate back.
I think he would help her with labor, with the progressives. You know, he's the senator from Ohio, a very progressive, good, smart guy, and I think he would add to the ticket.
Who's your second choice? That's a good first choice for her.
I'm not sure if I would. I might go with Tim Kaine, but I don't feel as strongly about Kaine as I would with Sherrod.
Okay, coming up next, as you just heard Congressman Shea say, Trump, he scares a whole bunch of Republicans. World leaders, though, they're even more concerned. We're going to ask our two former congressmen, who certainly have a wealth of experience in this area, why everybody ought to be worried.